friend, Brittany Suska. Come join me real quickly. You didn't know I was going to put you up front.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Are you ready for a little sunshine this morning? Let me hear you say yeah. This is one of our board members in our sunshine moment. A little ray of sunshine for you this morning. Everybody's going to be morning to Brittany Suska.
Good morning, everyone. Now, I know we're in a different market than we were last year, but I encourage each and every one of you to continue as you move through this new year, keeping your head held high, knowing the abilities and value you bring as real estate professionals, and keeping your eyes open for any opportunities that may arise. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "If I cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then walk. If you cannot walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward." So as you go into this new year, keep your head held high and have a beautiful Friday.
Woo! Excellent job, Brittany. Thank you so very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the West End Real Estate Professionals Annual 2023 State of the Industry event with Mr. Randall Lewis. And quickly, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are, the West End Real Estate Professionals. Our mission statement is that we are dedicated to promoting professionalism, education, and community outreach to the Inland Empire real estate community. And a little bit about us, we meet here each and every Friday, just as we are today, from 8:30 a.m. normally to 9:30 a.m. Today we have an extended meeting going through 10 a.m. And we focus on networking, which I saw you all doing this morning, weekly industry updates, listing showcase, virtual tours. We offer a multi-brokers open, educational guest speaker every single Friday, and I'll be telling you more about that in a moment. A full breakfast, raffles, and more. Today's a special meeting and it was $10 to get in. Normally it's only $5. You just pay at the door and you come in. It's a great group of real estate professionals. One reason that I started attending is because I wanted more business. And I want to tell you that that has come true for me on many levels. And not only did I create business relationships, I created friendships here. I came in, much like you, not knowing too many people in the room, and over time became a part of the board and a member of the West End Real Estate Professionals family here. And we not only do business together, but we live life together. And after being here now for over 15 years, I can say that I call most of you friends. But I want to say that one of the most important things that we do here is networking, getting to know each other. It's very powerful when a realtor knows another realtor, and when they accept an offer on one of their listings, they say, "I know in full trust that this realtor is going to perform because I know who they are." We have had transactions made here based on that. And so the power of the West End Real Estate Professionals and our mission really adds value to our community, our industry, and to our business. We are here to make relationships, but we're also here to make money. And I want to say, when you're hanging out with those who have the same focus that you do on improving their business, improving their character, improving their bottom line, when you're hanging out with equally yoked and focused business professionals, your business does increase. And so I want to invite you to join us each Friday morning here as we do just that. It's been beneficial for me in my business, and I know it will for you as well. Some upcoming events. We are also a registered nonprofit organization, which allows us to host fundraising events and to come together as real estate professionals to donate money and give back to our community. Last year alone, we gave away approximately $15,000 into our community to local charities. And we did that through our fundraising events. We have 4 to 5 each year, and our next upcoming event, and you may want to save some of these dates, you can see on the monitor to my right, your left. Upcoming event is the Patty's Day Party on March 14th. We'll be celebrating St. Patrick's Day together. All of our events are hosted at a very professional venue. We have live entertainment. We have, of course, food and drinks, great networking, great business networking, great relationships there, and all to raise funds for local charity. Followed by our Cinco de Mayo Taco Bout, a party event on May 4th. Some of you Star Wars nerds might want to call it May the 4th be with you, but we're going to be having a great time for the Cinco de Mayo party the day before Cinco de Mayo. We will then also in August have our annual real estate bowling extravaganza, where we sell out the entire bowling alley. 30 lanes filled with real estate professionals, bowling, having fun, networking, and raising money for charity. We also have our annual Oktoberfest event in October. That'll be easy to remember. Followed by our annual Christmas party, and it's an event just like this, where this room is full of people just celebrating the year and coming together to celebrate the holidays. I mentioned earlier that we also have educational guest speakers every Friday. Here's a list of some of our upcoming educational guest speakers. Next week, January 27th, we have live CRMLS training. They'll be training us on RE Center Hub dashboard right here. So realtors, you're going to want to be in the room for that. February 3rd, we have investment planning for realtors and real estate professionals. February 10th, we have real estate business coach Christy Munoz. She is a phenomenal coach and has taken many realtors and real estate professionals to the next level in their business. It's a do not miss opportunity. You see we have a lot of great guest speakers coming up. Coming from Sacramento, we have one of the leaders of Cal HFA going to come out and educate us on those loan programs. We have Senator Ochoa coming out. We have the Rancho Cucamonga City Manager coming out. And we have Citrus Valley Association of Realtors, Bill Rue, coming back fresh from DC March 24th with a legislative update. You can see we stay apprised of what's happening in our industry because as you may have noticed with the recent shift, our industry is always evolving, always changing, and we stay up to date here at WeRep, and we go through that together, and we make sure that we are providing the best service to our clients. If you want to know more about that, you can sign up for our weekly email blast. All that you have to do is go to our website, www.werep.org. That's the acronym for West End Real Estate Professionals. Everything about our events, our speakers, it's all there. How to submit your listing. I told you we have listing tours, we have brokers opens. How do you get more exposure for your listing? Go to our website, it'll tell you how you can do that. And when you go to your next listing presentation, don't forget to tell that seller that you'll be coming here to West End Real Estate Professionals and sharing their listing with multiple local real estate professionals. Set yourself above the competition, and we do that here at WeRep. Also, if you buy your annual membership, you save 20% on the entire year. It's a great opportunity to save money. You can see Jim Cameron out in the hall for more information on that. And with that, before we move on, I just want to ask that you please double check your cell phones and make sure that it is on silent or vibrate because we're going to be getting to our guest speaker in just a moment. If you want, you can, while you have your cell phone out and you're silencing that cell phone, you can also check in on Instagram or Facebook. Take a picture of everybody at your table. It's a great opportunity to remind your sphere of influence that you are a real estate professional staying updated in our industry. Don't miss that opportunity. Every post on Facebook or Instagram is an opportunity for a new lead. And you can also use your phone with this QR code to connect with us on Instagram at West End Pros. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of our board members and the Government Affairs Director for the Citrus Valley Association of Realtors would like to introduce today's dignitaries. Everybody say good morning to Mr. Bill Rue.
Thank you, everybody. We have a great speaker this morning. And whenever it goes out that Randall Lewis is going to speak, whether it's here or anywhere else, the room fills up like it does right now. He's local, he knows us. We have a lot of dignitaries in the room today. And if I announce your name, you want to stand, stand. If not, just wave from your seat. And at the end of the meeting, all of you who are in the real estate industry get to know these people because they are a part of this community that we all sell real estate in and work in. From the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, the Deputy CEO, Mr. Paul Thomas. From the City of Oakland, Mayor and Realtor, Mr. Bill Velto. Also from the City of Oakland, Mayor Pro Tem, Carlos Garcia. And from the City of Oakland, the newest council member, Mr. James Brightland. The City of Rancho Cucamonga, Christine Scott, council member, and something we learned last week with the gas company. We also have realtor and council member, Mr. Ryan Hutchison. From the City of Chino, the chair of the Planning Commission, Mr. Kevin Cisneros. From the Chaffey College Board of Directors, the President of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Lee McDougall. the clerk of the board, Deanna Lambert. And the immediate past president of the board, Gary Ovid. From the Cherokee Joint Union High School District, clerk of the board, Sue Ovid. From the Monte Vista Water District, the vice president of the board, Mr. Mike Milheiser. From the office of Congressmember Norma Torres, 35th Congressional District, Field Representative Brian Milligan. From the office of Congressmember Pete Aguilar, 33rd District, Field Representative Marco Polo Ansoa. From the office of the Assembly Majority Leader, Eloise Gomez Reyes, we have Maha Rizvi, Field Representative, and Ivana Wright, Field Representative. From the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters, their representative, Mr. Jimmy Elrod. That money is worth some of the homes you sell. From the San Gabriel Valley Homeless Consortium, the Executive Director, Lee Kane. From the West End YMCA, the CEO, Farzad Yakhtabar. From the City of Claremont, the City of Trees and PhDs, Councilmember Jennifer Stark. And if you don't know any of these people, get to know them. They have tremendous ways to help our industry. You can help them. Let's all partner together. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's not forget our dear friend and City of Montclair Council member, Mr. Bill Rue. I'd also like to take an opportunity to ask all of our California Association of Realtors directors to please stand. I want to thank you for your involvement in our industry, for advocating for us, and for being here for us in this professional meeting today. Thank you all. Thanks to all of our dignitaries for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've had an opportunity to grab some breakfast. If not, it is all here for you, brought to you in part by our breakfast sponsor. Could you imagine feeding 300 people? It does not come at a small cost, and we are grateful for the support. All year long, we get the support from this breakfast sponsor, and so we're happy to introduce to you today from the Lewis Group of Companies, Mr. Carlos Rodriguez, the Business Development Manager. Good morning, Carlos.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Hey, so my name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm the Business Development Manager of Lewis Group of Companies. Just tell you a little bit about myself. That's my ugly mug right there. I have about 20 years of experience in real estate. I was a loan processor and then was licensed in 2004, so I know the struggle is real. Been through the hard times, and it's interesting going through what's happening now with all of you being a part of that. And then I just wanted to also comment, many people know us as Lewis Homes when I'm out there and I'm talking to people. The first thing they say, oh, it's Lewis Homes, and they recognize that brand. And what we are is we're the Lewis Group of Companies, and we're actually 4 different divisions if you didn't know. We focus on apartments, planned communities, retail, and office industrial. And as you're out there, scoping out the land, checking out new farms, you might see our names on different things, and it's pretty amazing of how spread out we are out there. And then I want to acknowledge and thank you for being here. I want to specifically thank the broker community for here today, because without the service and guidance that you provide to the public, there would most definitely be a loss to our economy. Think about the jobs that you help create. I know Bill Rue talked about this. I was reading a NOR report last night that came out in June, and Nadia Evangelou attributes that for every home that's sold, it creates 4 new jobs. And the economic impact of one house being sold is about $246,700 in California. And that's huge. And that just talks about how important you are. All the jobs, carpenters, insurance, title, escrow, everything that happens in the transaction, electricians, plumbers, the roofers, everything, the textiles. You as a broker community move an economy in this area, and that's very significant, and it's really important to the development of a region, especially what's happening here in Rancho. And with that, I also want to let you know, we track to see where people come from, and about 50% of the people who they self-identify how they heard about our communities was because of a real estate professional. And so thank you so much for the work that you do, for your connection to the public and getting that information out to them and guiding them through the real estate process, because it actually is extremely important in our industry. And so let's go to the next slide. So real estate connection. So what do I do? So, I've got to know Kevin. I've got to know a lot of you out there and understanding the struggles and the education that's out there. I'm that connection to you. So anything that's Lewis related, I make myself available, we make ourselves available to be able to help you succeed as you engage the public. If you've got a question about what's happening on this development here, or you're going out and you're driving, you see some vacant lots and something's changing and you want to know what's happening, please reach out. I'm going to make myself available as far as information here shortly, and so you can always ask, and if we can help you in your business, that helps everybody. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through some slides. I'm going to make these slides available, so if you want to get a copy of what I'm showing you, just to reference back, I've got my information outside. You can come up to me, give me my card, and I'll send it to you personally. So let's talk about briefly our master plan communities. We've got the Preserve of Chino. If you haven't been out there, Eunice Oyoa, the mayor of Chino, the city of Chino is actually recognized as the top 5 boom towns in America, which is huge. And if you go look for that information, look up the YouTube video, and you'll see the amazing growth that's happening out there. And one of the questions that happens when we're out talking about how to increase your business, how to connect with the public, if you haven't been out there, there's a new town center being built. And there's a unique opportunity for people to know about that. So if you haven't been by, go by there, drive down Pine Avenue, see what's changing. So that way you have a really good reason to talk to somebody and say, look, you can get on something really new and exciting before it's built. As we've seen happen here, the same thing is happening out there. We've got Park Place, Ontario Ranch. So there's a lot of development going on out there. Inventory is still an issue. Housing shortage is still an issue. You've got a lot of builders out here, out in the back after the event, that are going to be able to answer questions about what's happening. There's a lot of communities that's changing. I know that even in my own neighborhood, I drive by, and if I happen to be by there in a week, you go by again, and all of a sudden there's walls and buildings and parks being built. So it's really important to get out there and see everything that's going on. So Park Place is another community that's coming up January 28th. So if you want to get out there and check it out. Shady Trails, if you haven't been up on the north side of Fontana, that's extremely interesting. The 15 corridor, it's the gateway to the Inland Empire. Shady Trails is closing out. You've got the north side of the 15 is completely changing right now. You see the landscape and all the construction that's going on. We've got the Arboretum, North Fontana. There's another phase opening up there, March 2023. So if you want to be connected with understanding when that's going to be opening, usually we'll have an event that highlights that. If you're connected with us, you'll know ahead of time. Harvest of Limonera. If you've ever been up to Santa Paula, passing Magic Mountain, going north, the 126, if you want to go ahead and go to the beach to Ventura County, there's actually this beautiful valley in a city called Santa Paula. It's Old Americana. They filmed a lot of the YMCA movies there, and there's a reason for it. It really is a beautiful place to check out. If you're heading that way, you're going to see our signs. Come by and visit. We've got this beautiful community on a hillside with the avocado groves and citrus groves, so it's beautiful up there. Parkside. So Parkside in Ontario. If you haven't been out there, there's a huge park being built. It's going to be amazing. Hence Parkside. Go visit, look at overheads, look at the city website. If you want some more information, reach out to me if you want to see where it's at and what's going on. Because once again, it's important that when you're talking to people and they're asking why should you move to this community or that community, for you to be able to say, look, there's going to be this beautiful park, look at some renditions, get some information, you're the expert, and that's what we want you to be. And that's one of the roles that I want to play, is I want to make you the experts when you engage the community. You know, sometimes I've got people that call me and they want a quick answer. They'll say, hey, Carlos, I just want to know whether it's apartments or a planned community, and they'll say, what's the price on this? They just want to hang up and go. And you know what? I don't want those kinds of calls. It's like, don't call me for that. Because what I want to do is, if you call me, I want to be the person that provides you and educates you and gives you the most information that you can get. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time on the phone. I want to know what your needs are, talking about your client, why you're asking it, show you how to find the information, and then make you the expert. So that way you're just not giving them an answer you got from somebody else without any kind of background. You're going in and you're seeing exactly, you know, you're learning about the community, you're learning on why it's important to share it, and you become the expert. So that's really important. Piemonte. So if you haven't been out north of Toyota Arena, we've got a community out there called Piemonte. It's a new home company. You also have Taylor Morrison out there. Those are coming up. And on the north side of that, as you go, you've got an apartment community called the Resort. So the Resort in Rancho is across the street from the Resort planned community where the old golf course was. So for you golfers, that was taken away. We're really sorry about that, but there's a lot of homes and we benefit from the homes that are out there. There's a large lot out there that's also going to be a future development, so we can get some information with that as that develops. But I want to talk a moment about the Homecoming Apartments. If you haven't been out to see Homecoming at the Resort Apartments, you haven't seen the best product that's out there as far as lifestyle, amenity-driven, lifestyle-rich. It's the most ridiculous and beautiful project that I've ever seen. And I've worked at luxury apartments. We've got representatives out there that I want to invite you to come and connect with them after the show or the meeting, and it's also a show, but after the meeting, connect with them, and we're going to set up some appointments and group tours for you here specifically, and we'll be showing you that project. And then I'd say we also broker co-op, but not broker co-op. We give a broker referral for anything 6 months and above. They do up to 24-month leases there. So you can do the math at $4,000, 24-month lease times 6%. That's a pretty good incentive to help you for bringing your clients to come live in one of our communities. And that actually applies to other ones, although they're probably just doing 12 months. And here's my info. If you want to, I don't know if you can hit that with your phone if you want to connect. This is actually going to get you updated whenever we have an event going on, whether there's a planned community event going on, one of our builder friends has an event going on. We want to go ahead and share that information with you. That's how you can get in touch with us. And then I just want to remind you at the end of this, please don't run off. This is like Kevin was saying, it's a great opportunity. Where's Kevin? There he is. Great opportunity to network. It's important to know who your industry partners are, what's happening with the cities. You've got Christine Scott here, you've got Ryan, different dignitaries. It's so important for that to happen. And that is it for me. I'm trying to run through that really quick. And like I said, it was really fast, so I will make this available. Come up and connect with me. I'm going to hang it out to the end, and make sure you get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for our breakfast sponsor. Good job, buddy. Let's hear it again for today. Could not have done this without him, so thank you so very much. He made sure that all of the tables outside were set up for the builders. As you're leaving today, they've got a nice little surprise for you out there, some great information that you're going to be able to take with you today. And I want to let you know, Affiliates, you have the same opportunity as Carlos did today with Lewis Group of Companies to come up and tell us about yourself and your company as well. If you'd like to have an opportunity to be a breakfast sponsor and help us out that way, come see me after the meeting and just bring me your business card and we'll make that happen. As I told you earlier, each and every week we have an industry update. We're going to give you a little abbreviated piece of that today, so ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Friday morning industry update with Mr. Brett Reichel. Where are you at, Brett?
Good morning, everyone. Morning. Y'all ready for some good news from the mortgage world instead of what we've been getting for the last year? Yeah, some good news. So, I don't know if you're paying attention, but a key inflation indicator is the producer price index. And the producer price index this week was better. In fact, the inflation wasn't as bad than was expected. Both the regular producer price index and the core producer price index. So that's good for mortgage rates. You know, we always hear the Fed's raising rates, and that, you know, everybody thinks automatically our rates go in lockstep with the Fed, but they don't. They go based on inflation. Inflation is the key number. And if inflation is better, our rates are better. So what's that mean in the real world? It means that, well, we've got lows for this year. Okay, we're only 3 weeks into the year, but we've got lows for quite a while. Freddie Mac's index on Thursday was 6.15 for a rate, and the optimal blue index, which we refer to a lot, was 6.1. So those are good rates, high quality buyer. That's an index. It's an average of a bunch of rates. A good quality buyer could certainly get under 6 with many lenders in the room. So, and the other thing that's probably interesting for you is that housing starts dipped again across the country. You know, of course, that's all regional, it's all local, everything in housing is local. But with housing starts dipping, what that does is that limits supply. And that is what's going to keep us from having a collapse. Limited supply means no collapse. We have had limited supply for a long time now. So, that's it. That's your good news for the weekend. You want something to talk about at your open houses? Talk about the good new lower interest rates. Thanks, everybody.
As always, each week we give us an update on what's happening with interest rates, etc. Now on to our guest speaker. The reason you all came here today, and we are grateful for his continued support. I'll tell you a little bit about our guest speaker. He is the Senior Executive Vice President for Marketing. Randall Lewis oversees the sales and marketing operations of the company. Randall received his BA from Claremont McKenna College. He is regarded as an industry leader in promoting the arts, education, healthy living, and sustainable development initiatives. He has been president of the Inland Empire Arts Foundation, secretary of the Los Angeles County Citizens Planning Council, director of the Home Builders Council, and national director of the National Association of Home Builders. Randall was named in the Los Angeles Times 2006 West 100 list as one of the top 100 influential people in Southern California. He also has received the California Business Properties Association Champion of the Industry Award and has been included into the California Building Industry Association Hall of Fame. Randall is a longtime ULI member as well as a governor of the ULI Foundation. Randall serves on several executive boards, including the USC School of Policy, Planning and Development, the UCLA School of Public Policy, Loma Linda University Medical Center's Orthopedic and Rehabilitation Institute, Advisory Council, Cal Poly Pomona's National Development Council, and co-chairs the San Bernardino County Alliance for Education. He is recognized as an expert in the real estate industry and is frequently quoted in various newspapers, magazines, and trade journals. Randall has over 30 years of experience in our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome from Lewis Group of Companies, Mr. Randall Lewis.
Thank you, Kevin. Unfortunately, that's an old bio. It said 30 years experience. This year will be 50 in May.
Oh, wow.
Thank you all for coming out, and Kevin and Weston, thank you for letting me be here. This is always my favorite presentation of the year. I get to see so many friends. I get to speak in front of the people who run our lives, the city council people from Claremont and Upland and Rancho and Chino. We have to do a good job in front of you. And then I get to see so many friends here. That really, what Kevin talked about in Brittany, you made friends here. That's what's really important about the West End professionals. This is a speech that I really worked pretty hard on because it's such a big audience. I usually take maybe 2 weeks and just read everything I can to try to say, what are people thinking is going to happen? Probably the best forecast I got was this morning. I was in the men's room doing my business before the speech. And I was standing next to Hector Castaneda, and I said, what do you think the year's going to bring? And he said, slow and steady. But I didn't know if he was talking about how we go to the back. Forecast. Hector, thank you for your forecast. I think you're probably correct. What I'm going to talk about today is a little different than other years. Carlos did a really great job of talking about all the developments we have. So I'm going to talk more about just sort of what happened last year. It was such a crazy year. Some things I think will happen this coming year. And then sort of some trends that I just thought you would all find pretty interesting. And this year's really a hard one for me for two reasons. I think is the uncertainty. I'll talk about it later, but when you look at all the forecasts, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Most years when I get the chance to speak here, you sort of know it's going up or it's going down. This year, nobody really knows, and probably Hector's right, slow and steady is the right answer. But there's not a lot of certainty about what's going to come. And the other thing that's hard for me, I'm a guy who smiles a lot and likes delivering good news. You heard most of the good news a couple minutes ago. It looks like inflation's getting tamed a little bit, but most of my news isn't that good. It's going to be this isn't going to be a terrible year. It's not going to be a great year. It's probably going to be a meh year, which is, it is what it is. So let's get on to it. 2022 was really a year of 2 years for us. The beginning of the year was extraordinary. The market was just booming. Interest rates were 3% or 4%. None of us could do wrong. We were all geniuses in this room during this period of the year. Home buyers were rushing to take advantage of the low interest rates because they were low interest rates, but they were beginning to hear rightly that interest rates were probably going to go up towards the end of the year. So it was really a fantastic beginning of the year. We saw that in other sectors of the Inland Empire economy too. The retail sales were really good. People were starting shopping centers. Apartment occupancies were fantastic. Rents were going up, bad for the renters, good for the landlords. In the industrial market, Inland Empire was the hottest industrial market probably in the United States, and things were just going crazy. So it was really, really great. But then it all stopped. As interest rates started going up, and they went up so fast, it was like someone switched off the lights. And we saw rates go from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. And I'm glad they may be coming down a little bit. But home building stopped, home buying stopped. I mean, it was dramatic what happened. And we saw it in other parts of the economy too. We began to hear from retailers that they were going to get cautious on opening new stores in the Inland Empire. And even the industrial market, those big warehouses, some of those people led by Amazon said that they were going to start slowing stuff down. So here's where we are today, right now. In the first few months of 2022, the builders were having a really hard time building houses. They couldn't get subcontractors, they couldn't get garage doors, they couldn't get appliances. And so they knew it was going to take them, instead of 4 months or 6 months to build a house, it might take them 8 or 9 months. So the home builders were limiting releases. The home builders weren't selling much with brokers. And frankly, for all of you in the room, they didn't care much if you came by because they couldn't sell many houses, and they just said, let's just take it really slow. Right now, it is a completely different world with the home building industry. They now have cut their prices, they've done a lot of financing, and they need all of you in the room. That's why so many of them are here out in the lobby. So if you're trying to do something with a client who needs a house, I'd really recommend you go see the new home builders. It is not February of 2022. It's January of 2023. They are eager to work with do, and they have some inventory, and they've priced appropriately for the market. So that's really good news. You heard it earlier about inventory, and that's going to really be true of the new home business in the Inland Empire. Almost all the builders we're talking to, except for a couple, are going to not start many houses in the next 6 months. And I'm not sure they're going to start a lot of houses afterwards. There's a big builder, Lennard, they're going to keep going. I think D.R. Horton will keep going. But you're going to see the supply of new houses drop dramatically over the next 6 months and 12 months. And that's going to be scary. We're also seeing that a lot of the people you deal with so much, the owners of existing houses, a lot of them are not going to list their houses. And it makes sense if you're in a 3% mortgage or a 2.5% mortgage, why would you list your house to go buy something at 6%? So I really think we're going to see some real shortages of supply in the Inland Empire, especially in the West End. And there's good news, bad news. Good news is it will, as you heard earlier, it'll help prop up pricing. Bad news, it's going to be hard for everyone in this room who makes money selling new houses and resale houses to do a lot of business. I think the impact of the increases in interest rates and some of the job layoffs are going to affect apartments and retail and industrial too. I mean, there's big debates now. Are we in a recession? Are we going into a recession? I'll talk a little more about it. The answer is nobody really knows. But when we talk to other real estate companies, they're all saying it's going to be time out. They're going to take a real long time just to see which way the market is going. Again, I think good news for the Inland Empire, we've got some props that will help us. And probably the biggest problem for us is that people are recognizing suburban living right now is probably better than urban living. If you read about downtown LA with the homeless issues, if you read about downtown San Francisco and others, there's really a push that people are saying maybe living downtown isn't as cool as it used to be, and maybe coming to Claremont or Rancho or Upland or Chino or Fontana is a better thing. So I think we're going to see continued demand from people. If they have a choice, they're going to choose the suburbs, at least for the next few years, and I hope forever, over the downtown. So that is very good news for us. And then I think in terms of retail, we're going to see that retail will probably be pretty good in terms of sales. But with all the inflation, we're beginning to hear from our retailers that some people are saying, I don't have the money to spend on clothes or groceries or other stuff. So keep an eye as you're looking at forecasts and looking at data, just see what's happening in the retail sales market. My hunch is it's not going to boom this year, and that's probably going to be new projects that are going to slow down quite a bit. So I think you're going to see new home starts go way down. I think you're going to see apartment starts way down. And I think all parts of real estate down. There's a phrase that we've heard a lot lately, and it's called pencils down. And it's coming from the lenders, that a lot of the lenders are saying to people in the real estate industry, we just don't know where the world is going. We suggest you put pencils down. And when a lender makes that kind of suggestion, what that means, they're not going to loan any money. And so that means projects aren't going to start. Luckily for our company, we self-finance all our projects. We're pretty conservative, so we've got a good cash position. But I think you're going to hear that phrase, pencils down, and you're going to see starts go way, way down. We're going to see some more trends coming, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about those. One that I think is interesting is you're going to see a lot of the new rentals, certainly by us, and rentals built by others, are going to resemble houses. And you're going to see a lot of the houses being built in the future are going to look like rentals. So what do I mean by that? Well, we've heard over and over from our renters that there's a big market that they say, I want to be a renter, but I'm not sure I want to be in a 3-story walk-up or a 4-story apartment. So we're doing projects, and our competitors are too, where the rentals are going to have features like kitchens or bathrooms or garages, just like condos or townhouses. And in terms of the quality of amenities and the landscaping, you'll see a lot of the new apartment communities will have characteristics of new homes. Likewise, on new homes, I've talked almost every year this move towards density. I think you're going to see more density with higher density clusters, but a lot more townhouses or condominiums. They're going to look like rentals. So you're going to see this merging of what things look like. How our company is going to respond, we have a new product line we're calling Independence. So we're going to have 8 projects that we're going to do throughout California in the next 2 years. And there'll be duplex communities, mainly with 2-car garages. They won't have big yards, but these will be houses that could be anywhere 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. No giant clubhouses. They won't have a lot of things you associate with our developments. But it's for the person that says, I want to rent, but I want to rent something that feels like a house. So we're all in. We'll probably do 2,000 of these. I hope it's the right move, or I'll get in trouble with my brothers, but I think it's the right move. And we're going to do a lot of them. And then you're going to see, in addition to those rentals, you're going to, again, see a lot more density, because it's the only way to deal with the housing crisis that we've got. I think another change that you're going to see going forward is what houses look like in the future. There's been a move in a lot of cities, and Rancho Cucamonga has probably been leading a lot of this, towards more contemporary architecture. And when we talked to customers in the past, if this was 7 years ago, we probably would have heard 10 or 20% say, I like it, and probably 80% would have said, I hate it. Now I would guess that it's more 50-50, that on some of the contemporary architecture, we're finding there are a lot of people who like it, especially some of the younger buyers. So it doesn't mean that the houses going forward are all going to be urban. It doesn't mean that some old friends, Victorian and Spanish and Tudor and Italianate will go away. But you're going to see a lot more contemporary architecture in our region going forward. I think you're going to see the inside of the houses really change too. COVID accelerated a trend that was happening anyways, and that was a trend of people doing more work at home and more multi-generational living. And so on the work from home, we used to always try as a developer and our builders to have a home office somewhere people could work. But they still had a lot of plans, but the great room was what everyone wanted. How do you be as open as possible? Now we're hearing from a lot of customers, and I assume you are, that they want to know, are there 2 home offices? Are there 3 home offices? Is there a private room for the people who have to be on Zoom calls and they don't want everyone to know what's going on? So I think on new homes being built, you're going to see even more of a push for home offices, Zoom rooms, and other ways to accommodate people who are going to be working from home 1, 2, 3, or 5 days a week. We're also going to see more of what we call multi-generational living. And this has been around forever, but it probably caught on with a number of builders in the last 10 years. But I think you're going to see more and more of this, where there are suites being built inside the house for more than one generation. And it could be for grandparents, but it could be parents who have a divorced child coming home. It could be brother, sister, lots of combinations. And it's interesting how that's evolving, and it's really fun for me to watch. I get involved in our product quite a bit. That the multi-generational suites, some are just an extra room with a bigger bathroom, but some are coming with workstations, some are coming with little kitchenettes, some are coming with their own living rooms. And some of the developers now are saying, maybe where we do these multi-generational suites can go in different places. Typically they're in the front of the house, but we've seen some plans that will be coming where they're upstairs, or they have a side entrance and a side stairway, where they're wrapped around the back of the house. So I think you're going to see a lot of multi-generational housing coming. Another big story, I think we'll see this coming year, will be the lack of inventory that I talked about. Just a minute. Pages are stuck. We have seen in our planned communities, and the ones that Carlos showed, we only have about 6 months of inventory in most of our planned communities. And I'm not sure what we're all going to do to keep busy on the Lewis marketing side. But in our communities, almost all others, there's not going to be many houses for sale in the new home side in the second half of the year. And for the builders to ramp up, that takes a long time. So I think you're going to see some of these shortages of inventory be pretty severe. So again, for you who have customers looking for houses, if they're ever going to buy, they do it in the next 6 months, because they're not going to have this many choices. An interesting trend that I'm seeing is price volatility. In home builders, and I assume with resales too, prices never change that much in the past. And with a typical home builder, if they change prices, it would be Monday morning, they'd say, how did we do? And they would just write a new price sheet for the coming week. And they might change their prices once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or once every 3 weeks. Now all of a sudden with new technology and new ways to communicate, I mean, builders are changing prices sometimes every day or every other day. And I think this is enabled by technology. It's just a lot easier to do that kind of changes, but also by the volatility in the market. So I think as you're working with your customers, if you see prices, don't think the price today is going to be the same price tomorrow. But interestingly enough, it might be higher, it might be lower. I think an industry to look at, if you go to a restaurant now, half the restaurants don't have menus anymore. I'm told it started because of COVID. People didn't want to get their hands dirty and get COVID. But the reality is a lot of restaurant people we've talked to, it's so they can change their prices to deal with inflation. So I think price volatility is something you're certainly going to see in the housing market, but I think you're going to see in other industries too. I think two final trends just on how houses are being designed. I mean, all of us, the last time I checked, are getting a year older every year. And so we all have to think, what does that mean in terms of housing? And we in the Inland Empire housing market have really not done a good job of recognizing these changes in housing, but in aging. But I'm finally hearing a lot of people saying, hey, it's too big a market. There's too many people, 70 or 75, that want different lifestyles. So I think over the next 5 years in the Inland Empire, you're going to start seeing people try to react to that, to say, how do we address the aging housing market? And then finally, a big trend that I think will happen will be the impact of climate change on how we build, where we build, and what we build. This isn't a political statement in any ways, but it's pretty likely climate change is real. And it's pretty likely both through state legislation. Jennifer Stark is like, I'm being politically correct, Jennifer, I'm so sorry. Yeah. It's going to change. No, I was not sarcastic. I was just being politically correct. Yeah. It's going to change. I mean, the biggest group that's going to determine where we build is going to be the insurance companies. Because the insurance companies are going to say, I don't want to write insurance where there are floods or fires or hurricanes. It's going to dramatically change where people build. But then through state legislation, federal legislation, how we build, how we deal with energy costs, how we deal with climate change, it's going to be significantly different 5 years from now than it is today. I think in a lot of this it will probably benefit the Inland Empire because we don't have quite as many climate risks. But it's going to really impact places like Florida, places in Texas, possibly Phoenix. There's going to be a new class of people, experts are predicting over the next 10 to 20 years. They're calling them climate migrants. And people are going to try to seek out where are the places they should live to deal with the changes in the weather. So it's just something to keep watching because I think it's going to be real. In terms of our company, we had a really good 2022. Most of it was because of the first 6 months of the year. But we sold a lot of land. Our home builders did well in our communities. Our shoppers did our retailers did very well in our shopping centers. In the industrial business, we got quite into that. We did really well. Our family remains very committed to the Inland Empire. So we're going ahead. Pencils aren't down for us. We're doing new Stater Brothers centers in Chandler, Ontario. We're working with them and some other grocers to probably do 3 more centers next year. So we're really committed to that. Carlos talked about our homecoming community, and it really is, I'm not a bragger, but it is the best rental community we have ever done. And I think it's the best in the Inland Empire, one of the best ever done in Southern California. So if it's at where Empire Lakes used to be, but it is a phenomenal one. We're building more phases. We're going to do new apartments in Reno Valley, in Chino, Ontario, and Grand Terrace. So we're really committed. And we're going to really keep going as a company and as a family. We believe in this area, and while others are pausing, we're going to keep going ahead. And with that, our company is going to grow. So just a recruiting pitch. If any of you are thinking of changing industries, talk to Carlos or talk to any of our people. We're always looking for good people to add to our team. And then the story of 2023 is still unwritten, as I said, but there's some things I think we have to be really aware of. One of them is just the challenges of California. And that's why I'm so glad that we've got so many electeds here, both local electeds but representatives from Sacramento also. I mean, California really has problems. I spoke with one of our key executives, I won't say who it is, a younger executive, And I asked him, he's about 40, and he lives in Upton. And I said, how many of your friends have left California? Friends from high school and college? And he said, about half of them. And I said, where are they going? And he said, they're going to Tennessee, they're going to Arizona, they're going to Colorado, they're going to Kentucky. It is really happening. I said, why aren't you leaving? And luckily he says, I like Upland, I've got a nice house, and I've got a 5-minute commute, so why would I leave? And I said, what about your parents? And he said, my parents are staying here because they want to be near the grandchildren. But if he ever gets mad at us, he's leaving. His parents are probably leaving too. And I just think it's Californians. We've got to think, how do we deal with these issues? How do we make the state more business friendly? Or we're going to see a continued exodus. So really work with the electeds here to try to see what are the problems and how do we find some common solutions. Also, I'm thrilled this year we've got so many representatives of Chaffey College and the Chaffey High School District here. So thank you all for coming. They normally don't come to this event. But we are blessed with some really great school districts in Upland, in Claremont, in Rancho Cucamonga. And we, and at the college level too, work closely with your school districts, K through 12, but also the community colleges. I mean, the schools are the centers of all of our community, and we need to give the schools all the support that we possibly can. So what does this mean for all of us? What's the punchline in all of this? I think it's likely it's not going to be a great year. I hate to say that. And I think it's probably going to be slow but steady. And some of you in this room aren't going to make money. Some of you are going to have tough years. But I think this is a year for all of us to sort of hunker down, watch our expenses, and just be here for the cycle that's going to turn sooner or later. You know, most of the economists don't think interest rates are going to come down a lot in the next 6 months. When I read the stuff from the Fed, it looks like they're going to do, the next increase will be a smaller increase, but they're still planning to do increases to try to tame inflation. Luckily, we're not that impacted by the tech sector here, but if you've been reading, just this week, 30,000 jobs have been announced. I think it was Facebook and Google and Microsoft or Apple. But 30,000 jobs are not all in California, but that's big. And what the Fed is trying to do is if we can't cure inflation, we're really going to have problems. I think you're going to see this current battle to keep the interest rates high, to slow down inflation. And while that's good in the long run, it's really bad in the short run. So it's just time for all of us to be really cautious here. I think we in the Olympic Party said will probably be propped up quite a bit just because of the desirability of the quality of life in our communities and because of the trend towards suburbs. So that's good. But I think for all of you, if you're trying to say, where do you spend your time or money, I would invest in yourselves. Get even more training that you've had before. Try to just make yourself the best version of you, because it's going to get better in 24, 25. And then something Kevin talked about, invest in your relationships. The people in this room have such talent. I mean, I'm blown away every year when I come here, how good the talent is. So as you invest in yourselves, invest in getting to know others better and try to think how you can work together. I've been looking at a lot of the forecasts, and it's interesting because I want to sound smart here. I'm not smart, but at least I can copy people. And again, it's just really murky for next year. More and more people do think we're going to head into a recession. But it's weird when you look at the economic stuff. Fortune magazine had something this week where they asked 27 housing economists what's going to happen with the house prices. I think 5 said they're going to go up. I think half of the remainder said they're going to go down a little, and half of the remainder said they're going to go down a lot. Well, probably if you said the crowd is probably right, we're probably going to see some house declines. But when you read that, be really skeptical. Because I always thought Fortune magazine are super smart, but they didn't ask the question right. So some of the economists were saying December to December price changes. Some were saying peak to trough from the very top to the bottom. Some were saying, well, I think prices will change X or Y before 2024. So read forecasts with a really skeptical eye and try to say, what are they saying? And are they all talking apples to apples? But in general, most of them are saying it's going to be a tough year going forward. So overall, the punchline, I think 2023 is going to be an okay year, not a great year, not a terrible year. I think we're protected in the Olympiad. I hope we're protected. But I think it's going to be okay. And then lastly, I think this is still going to have due diligence. You can still do things the right way, but there is no reason a new housing project should take 3 or 4 years to go through the process. I think second is going to be work with Sacramento on sources of funding for housing. The state has put out a lot of mandates for housing, but they're what are called the unfunded mandates. And so they're saying to our cities who have tough budgets, you have to do so much housing, and some of it's got to be affordable. But the cities don't have the money to do that. And so I think we have to work with Sacramento to say, what are ways to help fund the housing that's needed? And then lastly, something we don't get involved in this group as much as we should, is the homeless issue. I mean, it is a disgrace what you see in Southern California. And I don't have the answers, and I don't think anyone has an answer. But I just think we've got to put our heads together and figure out what to do with the homeless crisis. It is truly a disgrace and a sin.
Thank you, Randall. Looking for more hands. George, anybody in the back? All right, I'll cut. Anybody right here in this area? All right, I'm going to go over here and I'll come over to your side, Dave.
Hello, I just wanted to get the last point that you mentioned. I didn't catch that. So, can you repeat yourself?
It was about homeless. I'm saying I do not have an answer for homeless, but it's impacting every city, some worse than others. And I call it a disgrace and a sin, and I truly believe that we have to work collectively to help deal with it.
Perfect, thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Powers.
Thank you for being here, Randall. Great to see you, and great presentation. I was at an event talking about the high-speed rail that's coming in from Victorville to Vegas, and they're all permitted, and it's ready to go, building probably 2025. They said the Lewis Corporation is a big part of that with housing. Could you kind of give an overview?
Sure.
What's happening with that, please?
Yeah, just for clarification, we have nothing to do with the high-speed rail. They're coming to Rancho Cucamonga, and we happen to own about 80 acres next to it. So I think we will be a beneficiary of it and be a victim of it, because I think it's going to bring some impacts. But that a private company called Brightline has been working to do a train that'll go back and forth to Las Vegas with a couple stops in the high desert. And I think overall this will be a good thing. It's not a done deal for sure. It's more likely than not it's going to happen, but it is not a done deal. They're trying to get it done for the Olympics because they think there'll be a lot of opportunities. My own sense, it's going to be hard to get it done for the Olympics because there's so many projects people are trying to get done before the Olympics. I think there's going to be a shortage of labor and materials, but I hope they get it done. Its stop will be in Rancho Cucamonga. There's going to be a really great multimodal transportation system there. It'll connect to other train lines, to bus lines. There may be some great connections to the Ontario airport. So it'll be one of the most exciting developments ever in the Inland Empire. I just want to emphasize, we are not part of it. They're doing it on their own, and it's likely to happen, but it's not a done deal for sure.
Thank you.
I think we have a question back.
Yes.
Thank you for your time, Randall. ADUs, it appears that the cities have finally all incorporated plans for them on the older homes, that there could be rentals as well as additional housing for family members. Just wanted to feel your impact of what you're hearing about ADUs out there.
Yeah. Well, brought in the question, the ABUs, and then some of the state laws that allow duplexes and doing a little more density. I mean, I think first, the impact on the cities will not be as great as some of the people who are opposed were worried about it. Not that many have happened yet, but ADUs, especially the accelerated dwelling units, I think is a good thing. Sort of cities, Claremont just passed some money to help people do them. And the idea is just if you've got a backyard that can accommodate it, put in something 600 feet, 800 feet, 1,000 feet to put another dwelling unit there. It is a really great idea. It makes a lot of sense. There are issues with it because how do you deal with the extra car? How do you deal with the extra people and some of the systems? But in general, I think we will see more ADUs in people's backyards, but I don't think it's going to be dramatic. I think it is a good solution but a minor part of the solution. So you'll see more. And I think you're going to see springing up a line of people who have pre-packaged ADU plans where they can go to a homeowner and work with the city and say, I've got something that the city has already approved, do you want it? And by being able to do that, it could save months and months and tens of thousands of dollars if people can have some standardized floor plans. So I like the idea of ADUs, it's a good thing, but it's not going to be a major game changer.
Thank you, Randall. We can take 2 or 3 more questions. If you have a question, you can put your hand up, go to the front of the room, we'll get there quickly. George, if you have anybody in the back, you can roll with that as well.
Thank you. Hello, Jimmy Elrod. I'm a representative with the Southwest Carpenters. I was just wondering, what's your take on recent legislation, AB 2011, better known as Affordable Housing and High Roads Job Act, which is meant to help expedite, streamline, and deliver affordable housing all throughout the state. As you know, everybody in this room knows there's a critical shortage of affordable housing. This bill was in shortage of housing in general, but which, a very small percentage being truly affordable.
I think anything, great question. I think anything that Sacramento can do to incentivize affordable housing is a good thing. I wish they would incentivize all housing, but affordable is really a good thing. And I think, Jimmy, it can help give more affordable housing to come. I mean, it is crazy now. We used to laugh when we'd read the newspaper about NASA and it would cost $500 for a hammer to take in space or something. Well, ADUs now, affordable housing units, it can cost $500,000 or $600,000 a unit to do them in Southern California. I just heard yesterday in the city of Northern California, it was almost $1 million in San Francisco to build a unit of affordable housing. So I think the state legislation is good. I hope we can get even more of it. But we really need to think on affordable housing. What can we do so it doesn't cost $500,000 to build them? Because there just aren't enough dollars. Good question. Thank you.
George, any questions in the back? Hands up in the back. Any questions in the front?
No, they're all shy.
All right. Realtor is shy. Well, Mr. Randall Lewis, I think that's the last of the questions. We want to thank you for being our guest speaker today.
Thank you, everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here. I hope I get invited back next week. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will just remain in your seats for about 10 more minutes. We do have a few listings that we'd like to have realtors showcase. As I mentioned earlier, we do showcase listings here. It's a great opportunity for our realtors to be able to share their listings. So please remain in your seats. Please do not stand up or start talking. We just need 10 more minutes of your time. It's time for the West End Real Estate Professionals virtual tours. And I'd like to invite up from Keller Williams Realty, Ami. Oh no, this one was from last week. What did I do? Okay, skip that. I don't know. From Next Level Properties, Gail Barnes. Good morning, Gail. Come and tell us about your listing.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Lewis, for being here. We appreciate your knowledge. Some of you are already familiar with the listing that I have, but this is the first time that we're having the brokers open. So you're all invited today. My listing is at 8530 Cali Feliz in Rancho. It is the Red Hill Country Club area. It's a 4 and 2. And Randall, I'm really happy that you mentioned multi-generational. This house is over 16,000 square feet. This is like a mini resort built over 16,000 square feet. The square footage of the house is 1813. But there's plenty of room for an ADU. And he also mentioned home offices because we are working remotely. Oh, thank you. Is that pictures in? It's coming. So again, it's a 4 and 2. There is a home office, like I said. We're working remotely now. So it's perfect for that. Let's see, everything's almost ready. The AC, the pool equipment, the roof, the kitchen, all appliances are included. It's a great property. It's $865, reduced from $875, and it's open today, like I said. So we're out of here, let's see, at 10 o'clock, so right after the meeting, you can come and take a look at it. 8530 Kelly, please, that's okay. Just write that down, or come see me, I'm sitting over here. I'm Gail Barnes, owner of Next Level Properties in Dunbar Bar. Thank you. For 10
All right, thank you, Gail. We've got some great pictures of your listing here. I'm not sure, technology, it's either your best friend or your worst enemy. All right, next up, and again, I want to remind you that each week you can share your listing here at the West End Real Estate Professionals, and normally we have it on the screen, but I'd like to also invite up to share her listing, Patricia with Quality Home Realty. Patricia, are you here? Patricia? Where are you? I heard that I am, yes. We still have nothing on the screen. That is odd. All right. All right. No pictures, I guess. We had it up there earlier, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Good morning, everyone. I wish I had the pictures to show you. It's a beautiful home in Claremont. It's part of the Padua Hills neighborhood. Literally about 5 houses from the actual theater on your left-hand side if you walk down the neighborhood. And some of the points that I wrote down that Mr. Lewis was talking about that actually fits the listing that I have is the fact that a lot of people are leaving the cities and moving to suburbs, and they work from home. And this house has the ability for you to work from home, and you never really want to leave it. The house has like 360-degree views. From the front, you have the northern exposure of the mountains, the wilderness trail from Claremont. From the rear, you have views of the canyon. And the house itself is 2,500 square feet. And what I like about it, another point that Mr. Lewis was saying is sustainability is going to be the way to build homes these days. And even though the house was built in 2007, it was built with sustainability and eco-friendly mindset. It was built from ground up with raw straw block, which I had no idea what raw straw blocks were until I got the listing. And it turns out it's all made out of block with fireproof and resistant materials. So being up in the hills, yes, you often have to buy the additional fire insurance, but my homeowner says because it was built with sustainability in mind, you can just buy your standard homeowner's insurance policy, which is a plus. But I really wish we had the pictures so you can see the views. We are holding it open Sunday from 1 to 4. It's 4 bedrooms, and what I liked, another point that Mr. Lewis said, is that a lot of people are leaning towards multi-generational lifestyles. And this house is a 3-story. Entry level has 1 bedroom, your dining, living room area. Upstairs is your master's suite with a balcony and another den. And below are 2 more bedrooms that actually has its own private access. So if families have adult kids, or if they have a mother-in-law that needs to live with them, or a mom or all elderly, or you can rent it out as an ADU. It's completely finished with, there's washer dryer downstairs, kitchenette, 2 bedrooms. So it has a lot to offer. We are asking 1.6 for it. I did explain to my client that homes are on the market a little longer these days, 60, 90 days or more, but like, there it is. This is the house. And it was back in 2007, what happened, this is a double lot up in Via Padua. The original home was adjacent to this, and it happened to be one of those homes that burned down with the Grand Prix fires. So rather than building right on the spot where the house sat, they went right next door, and it was a double lot they built from ground up. The views are beautiful of the canyon. There's terraced levels from the backyard, so if you like to meditate, you can get lost in your backyard. There's places to sit down and meditate if you want to entertain. It has balconies, and it's just beautifully built, and it was a local company from Claremont Design Group, an architect who built it with sustainability in mind. The way the The house was built with the high ceilings, it has solar panels that are owned outright. You don't have to worry about assuming any kind of a lease or anything. It's just truly a lovely home. If you have any interest, we're holding it open 1 to 4 Sunday, or you can come see me. I'll give you my card and I can send you all the details. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience on the pictures. Hey, we're in real estate, we persevere, and we just keep going forward, right? So in that amount of time that she was speaking, I closed down all the programs, restarted the computer, rebooted it, unplugged the HDMI, plugged it back in, and look, hey, we're making it happen. That's how we rock and roll here at the West End Real Estate Professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, up next from Progressive Real Estate Partners, Roxy Klein. Everybody say good morning to Roxy. She's got a very unique opportunity for you.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi, everybody. I'm Roxy with Progressive Real Estate Partners, and I'm excited today to be talking to you about the retail leasing opportunities at the resort. The resort is one of Lewis's new mixed-use developments in Rancho Cucamonga between 4th and 6th Street. At the resort, we're going to have 3 retail leasing opportunities, one on 4th Street, 6th Street, and the Circle. The Circle is in the heart of this mixed-use development, and we have spaces available that are approximately 1,248 square feet. If you're looking for an office for your residential real estate company, or you have any commercial clients looking to open up a business, it's a fantastic opportunity. I can be reached at 909-576-4259. Please call me for the leasing details. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Roxy. Appreciate that. All right, not only do we offer a weekly virtual tour as you just experienced, but we also, once a month on the second Friday of every month, offer a multi-brokers open. It's the uncaravan, so we don't follow each other to each listing anymore. We give you a list of the properties that are on for that week, and then you get to choose which properties you'd like to see, at what time you'd like to see them. They're hosted normally from 10 to 1 p.m. Realtors, again, you can find more information about all of this or anything that I've mentioned today on our website, werep.org, and get set up for our next Brokers Open. All right, 2023 coming up. More guest speakers, drive caravans, virtual tours, networking, education, industry updates, charitable events. Our next meeting is next Friday, January 27th. We would love to have you here. Normally we open the mic to everybody to have 60 seconds to tell us about their listings, their buyers' needs, real estate industry announcements, and we even do raffle prizes. But I apologize to those who brought a raffle prize today. We're going to move forward without that. And just a reminder that we need breakfast sponsors throughout the year. You'll have an opportunity to come up and tell us about yourself and your company. We also add your information to our email blast for the entire week. You get to add all of your marketing materials to every table in the room. Great opportunity for additional exposure for you and your company. See me after the meeting to get signed up for that. We want to thank our breakfast sponsor again and have him come up to tell you what you can expect after this meeting. We have something special for you out in the hall. Joining in for a warm welcome, Carlos and Lewis group of companies. And we're also going to do the poker card draw raffle. So Scott, if you want to come up, we're going to give away some cash in just a moment.
All right, well, hey, I was a little nervous, so there's a lot of you in this room. But hey, I want to remind you, you've got representatives from our plan committees that are out there. Okay, so that's our master plan. That's where we build, develop, and get guest builders that come and build all those projects. A lot of information there. You have representatives from the apartment community side, specifically talking about what Randall had described the resort, and I was talking about. Talk to them, like I was saying, we're going to do some group tours exclusively for the people here. Give them your cards. We're going to reach out, contact you, and get you out there so you can get updated on what's happening. And then also, too, you got the guest builders. You know, they're a wealth of information. They don't not only represent the builders that are building on our project, but they also have information for other outliers. And so, if you want to connect with them, talk to them, get to know them, visit their projects, and get out there, visit, and know your business, and be a valuable member to the public that needs information and needs information from you.
Absolutely. All right, Carlos.
And then one more thing. And then if you want to connect with me, please, I'll be hanging out for a little bit. Just come give me your card. And then if you want the presentation that was showing a lot of the details, I'd be glad to send that to you.
All right, thank you again, Carlos. Hey, Carlos, go down there. We're going to give away some cash real quick. We got some people buying some raffle tickets. Every week we play the poker card draw raffle. It's a 50-50 pot that allows us to support local charities. The pot today is $300 if somebody pulls the joker. And Carlos, if you go over and grab a ticket real quick and announce the winner, we are ready to rock and roll. And we want to thank you again for being here today. Thank you to Mr. Randall Lewis. Don't forget, we meet every Friday here from 8:30 to 9:30. Today our special meeting was 8:30 to 10. It's only 9:55, we're doing good. We want to thank you for being here and meet somebody new, do a little networking, and go out and talk to the builders at the table. Did you guys have a good time today? All right, thank you for being here. Don't forget to check our website, werep.org. We appreciate y'all being here. If you got raffle tickets for the Poker Party or raffle, we're going to draw right now. Thank you again for being here. At the West End Real Estate Professionals, we ask that you please bus your tables, remove all traps from your tables, and to all of you, a great big happy Friday! Good day, everybody. All right, we've got a little ticket here.
All right, the winning numbers are 2, 0, 1, 7, 9, 0, 5. 905. Check your tickets. What's the pot? $300. Raise your hand up your ticket. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to dig again. I see somebody. There's somebody.